Hi guys, welcome to Simply Scuba. Here we have the XDeep NX Project Aluminium backplate and wing. So this is a complete backplate and wing system. You get the harness, this is how it comes, so it's already assembled. You just need to adjust it to your size. You get the aluminium backplate, which just means that it's a little bit lighter. So if you're a traveling twin set diver, this will be fantastic. But if you need an extra trim weight, there is a stainless steel version available. And of course you get the NX Project wing. So if I start off with the harness, I'm just going to lay it down. So this is it's a slight change to the traditional DIR style harness. It's a single piece harness, but it's set up a little bit differently. XDeep have basically gone to, they've looked at backplate and wing setups and how they can improve them. So, but they want to keep that same kind of reliability of a DIR style harness, single piece, but they just want to make it a little bit easier. So what they've done is, so starting up at the top, they have a little loop for your corrugated hose. So that keeps it exactly where you want over your shoulder. Traditional 2-inch webbing, and that moves down to a pre-bent stainless steel D-ring. So this is on a slider, so you can move that backwards and forwards wherever you want that positioned on your shoulder. A little section of inner tubing just for an accessory, just to keep that down. And then this loops into the backplate up, and then it becomes your waistband. So your waistband is a little bit higher, which makes it nice and comfortable. I'll go into more detail on the backplate in a second, but they've widened the backplate, made it more into an X shape, so that sort of spreads the pressure, makes it much more comfortable, and you have that sort of wider real estate, so it's not quite so uncomfortable on your back. Okay, moving down from that, if we look at the waistband, so this is quite a stiff webbing material. This isn't the same as the shoulders, obviously, but the way that they've done it, so your shoulder strap connects down at the bottom of the backplate, and then your waistband starts a few inches above that. That actually means that when you're putting it on, it's a lot easier to get your shoulders in. With a standard sort of DIR setup, it can be quite awkward to get that second arm in because your straps are so tight and snug, but the way they've set this up, it actually makes them a lot longer, so you've got more sort of slack to actually get into the harness. Moving down from that, the crotch strap has a Y shape to it. Instead of just being a single piece of webbing, you have two separate sections of webbing that then join together at the loop that goes in the front. So that way you're spreading the amount of tension. There's not quite as much rubbing because you've only got instead of having a single section of webbing between your legs, now you have two. And it also means that you can have two attachment points down at the small of your back. So now you can separate things that you're clipping off behind you. Okay, the back plate itself, if I stand it up and try and make it easy to see. Okay, so the back plates, you've got a bit of padding up at the top around your shoulders, but this is an X shape, so it goes up and it's much wider than a traditional back plate, so that's spreading all of the sort of area that's actually pushing on your back, and they spread it out down at the bottom as well, so it's much wider, much more comfortable. We've got some skeletonization as well. They're cutting out bits just to save a bit of weight. You've got attachment points, grommets all the way down the spine, and you have a long slot down at the bottom, so no matter where your sort of twinning bolt is, it's going to sort of fit in that slot. Lots of little attachment points all around the side for any accessories that you might have, and because it's aluminium, of course it's much lighter than stainless steel, but it's still just as tough and reliable. Okay, moving on to the wing. So the wing itself is where it really gets the NX Project sort of designation, and that's all mainly at the top. So the corrugated hose, one, it starts in the center, so this is for twin set diving. It means that there's less sort of complications and less crowding up around your valves, but there's no 90-degree elbow. So you don't get any sort of big failure points, you don't get any big clunky valves or anything up at the top. The corrugated hose connects directly into the bladder. So that means that you get a nice, easy and streamlined airflow. and less sort of mucking around, less sort of bulk up around your cylinder valves. At the very top of the wing, if I turn it around and show you the back, okay, up at the top of the wing, you'll notice there's very little air volume up here. So this is because this is a bit of a dead zone. You don't want too much buoyancy up around your shoulders, up around your neck. Most of the buoyancy is down here, down towards the sort of small of your back. And that's beneficial for two reasons. One, so it holds you nice and trim and flat in the water, and two, when you're on the surface, most of the buoyancy is lower down, so it holds you upright on the surface. So you get the best of both worlds. The way they've arranged the bladder itself, you have the dead zone down the center. This is much more compact than a traditional wing, so it means that they can allow it to be much more streamlined and much more sort of more compact than a traditional wing, while still maintaining the same amount of buoyancy. You've got 52 pounds of buoyancy, which is about 23 kilos, so plenty of lift even for sort of heavy steel 12s. And it's in that donut shape, so your airflow is free to move around, makes it really easy to sort of inflate and deflate. You also get a dump valve on your left-hand kidney. You get a really long sort of cord on that, but you can shorten that, of course, if you want to. The bladder itself is protected on the inside. This is just an outer protective nylon cordura, so very abrasion resistant, very tough. So if you're diving in overhead environments or near sort of sharp objects, this is going to protect that internal bladder. Even if something does make its way through this external shell, the internal bladder is like 440 cordura, which is in itself protective, but you can disassemble it and you can swap it out. You can sort of do puncture repairs if you want. It's a fantastic system. So if you're thinking about starting on twins, this is a fantastic place to start. This is the XDeep NX Project Aluminium Backplate and Wing System. Thanks for watching. Safe diving. We are an online dive store serving the UK and the world for all your diving equipment needs. So why not visit us at simplyscuba.com or click the box on your screen.